Hi, beloved Godek Radio friends. We are back with the book Message from a Teen in the Spirit's World by the Spirit Neio Lucio and psychographed by Chica Xavier. We are at the chapter Conscience, and we can recap quickly. This book is about a boy named Carlos, and he wanted to write a letter to his brother to explain his experience when he disconnected, and what his experience is in the spiritual world and what he's doing. So he wrote his brother this letter. Today, Conscience. I've learned a lot of unexpected lessons here. I never thought that being a lazy boy could do such harm. Ever since I realized this, my brother, I have cried a lot. Do you remember little Bichano? I think the name is correctly. Please excuse me if I don't pronounce it, okay? Bichano, Donna Susanna's cat, which I killed with rocks. Oh, how painful it is for me to tell you everything. During my classes, as I have gradually understood what our teachers had been teaching us about obligations, I've been recalling my wrongs in more detail. Our self-understanding before the universe and life, so it seems to me, shines a much stronger light in the innermost areas of our soul. With this mysterious light, my memories of days gone by have resurfaced completely and actively in my mind. In this way, by going deep inside, I saw little Bichano, my victim, once again, and heard once more his cries of anguish. Hi Anita, thank you for joining. Okay, our anguish flooded with the light of true understanding. My inner sight seemed to have changed. I began to see little Bichano everywhere. He was with me during study times and recess, while at work and while at rest. A time came when I couldn't stand it anymore. I yelled as loud as I could. I begged for my teachers and classmates to help me. Appropriately enough, our instructor was talking to us about the love and gratitude we owe to animals. And within my conscience, at the unforgettable moment, the terrified eyes of the little cat seemed to look squarely into mine, begging for mercy. I was overcome and fell to my knees in tears. I confessed my terrible wrong in a loud voice and pleaded with the instructor to free me from the awful scene. My classmates turned to look at me when I fell screaming. Our instructor, however, smiled as benevolent as always, came up to me, gave me a fatherly hug and said, I already know what happened, my boy. Be calm and patient. You are getting better because you have found out about your wrongs by yourself. I saw that he was moved too, because of his watery eyes. After a long pause, he patted my head and explained, because you needlessly killed that industrious and innocent cat, the picture of your victim is deeply engraved in your memory. Knowing that my teacher could see what was hidden in my memories, I hugged him and pleaded, my protector and friend, help me for mercy's sake. He listened emotionally to my plea and felt pity for me because he put his hands on my head and prayed with such a wonderful feeling for my peace of mind that I felt suddenly renewed. Those caring hands radiated an intense light that pierced my entire soul and bathed it with new energies. In light of the relief from my confession in front of everyone, my spirit settled down. While I was reading this last bit about radiating an intense light that pierced my inner soul, and he talks about the mentor's hands, and I thought about Jesus, how he used to heal and console everybody. Very hands-on master. Let's talk about this. This first thought would be that it's terrible. We are cat lovers, we are animal lovers, and we think about this boy killing a cat. In the Spirit's book in chapter 1, the fifth law, the law of Moses, states that you shall not murder. And that includes all things. It is not only human beings, it is all beings. And in the end, I think Carlos, still young, didn't grow up with much spirituality and didn't understand much before he discarnated. And in his not understanding was what he did with the cat. And now, because of the classes that he's taking in the spiritual world, he understands more. And he's saying here that the class was about respecting and to be thankful for the animals that surrounds us. The thing is that I think we are still so early in our evolvement that in a later period, maybe in later lives, we will realize that there's everything is alive around us. Everything is alive. And the one thing that I keep on reminding myself is that the one thing that Vanessa mentioned one time was, we are only the butlers of everything on earth. Only the butlers, which means that we are responsible to look after everything on earth, but it does not belong to us. And if we love God, and if we respect ourselves and respect God, we will respect all living things. All living things. But sometimes we are still ignorant. And while we get these lessons, and this is what the teacher told Carlos, sometimes when we educate ourselves, we realize that the things that we did not understand, and it's because we are still we didn't understand that sometimes we did things, and this is why understanding comes in, so that we can understand each other sometimes. When someone does something, to understand that they still don't know what they are doing. And as we evolve and we change ourselves, and I always use the example of Apostle Paul. He changed his whole life after he killed Christians, and he realized what he did, and he changed his whole life. And the rest of his life, which is about 30 years, he spent in the work of Jesus, doing the work of Jesus. So when we realize, like Carlos realized, that he actually did something that wasn't good, when he realized that, that is when change comes. That is when we can go further. And the one thing is that we need to know ourselves to change. We need to educate ourselves like they are being educated in the spiritual world, to change ourselves, to understand what we did. And what the teacher says here to Carlos is that In our mental field, we collect everything that we do on earth, or in all our lifetimes, we collect it in our conscious. And in the spiritual world, it will come forth so that we can see where we still should change before incarnation. Things that maybe we will go to school to understand so that we can come back and change some things. The other thing that he mentioned is being lazy. Being lazy and doing nothing. And lazy has a lot of things. To sit down and to study is not laziness. It is to keep our minds busy with educating, uplifting, and good things. Then you are not lazy. When you watch something on TV and it's educational, something that you can learn from, it is not laziness. But to do nothing at all, or do something that is not helping anyone at all, that is laziness. And he did in a prior chapter explain that he just wanted to ride his bike and play marbles and eat and drink. And the thing is that we need to help our children to do small things, because it's in small things we do and the attitude that we do it with that is actually good for our souls as well. To be active, but to do things together, to work in the house, in the garden, to feed the animals, all these things, to be inspiring, to help, so that our children, especially now, when we're all home together, so we can do things together that is uplifting and helping them as well, and spiritually. And we see that this is spiritually in the end. We should not live in the past. When you have done something, and you will see with Carlos as well, we have to move on. We have to look at ourselves. We have to see what we can change in ourselves, and then we can't live there. Paul didn't live in his past. He said that it was done. He was a changed man. So we can't live there. We have to forgive ourselves as well for what we did. And this is what Carlos will be learned as well, to forgive himself and to move forward in the understanding that that wasn't the right thing to do. And firstly we should forgive ourselves, and then also we need to forgive one another. We can't bring up all things constantly and say that we have forgiven something or someone, and it's in ourselves as well. You get people that if you talk to them, they will talk about something that happened many years ago, and they still talk about it as if they live it in this moment. And the thing is that we should leave this in the past. The past is the past. We should only live in the present with our present consciousness, so that we can live here and can move forward and forgive ourselves. And we should hold our head up high as well. And this is what is so amazing about the teachers in the spiritual world. They will never judge. They will only help. This loving hand of Jesus, this comforting hand helping Carlos, which is so beautiful. So the lesson is that we should help each other regardless. But let's look at ourselves. Let's see, where are we at? What can we change about ourselves so that we can move forward? And let's do this for one another as well, so that we can be this loving, kind hand of Jesus that shines through us in the end, so that we can help one another, especially in this time where there are so many things that is happening around us with people that we love as well. So let's be this loving hand of God, so that we can console and that we can forgive. And it's a good time to actually look at our lives and see, where are we going, and to work hard on ourselves and together in our family unit. We will go on next week, and the next chapter would be organization. This is a really great book. If you want to buy this for your children, it's very great. Every chapter has got a very significant message, and it's not only for children, especially for us as well. And if you can see in every chapter, they talk about mentally knowing each other's thoughts and also mentally communicating, which is a great thing to help children understand this, that every thought and everything we do is being recorded, is being seen, is being, it is very good for them to understand this, and especially about death and what happens about death, especially death. So we will see each other next week. Thank you so much for everybody that joined. Anita, I couldn't see everybody's names, but thank you so much for your loving kindness. May everyone have a wonderful and safe week. Thank you. Bye-bye.